Hello everyone, so I will be doing a bookshelf tour. So I will say that my bookshelves aren't very pretty. I've had them since I was about 5, so they're very short and don't fit many books on them. I don't have any real sort of organization other than I have one bookshelf for the books that I've read and another for the books that I haven't read. And so when I read a book from the one shelf that I haven't read, then I put it on the bookshelf of the books that I've read. These are not all the books I own. I have about over 700 books. These are just the books that I have in my bedroom. I get most of my books from library book sales and used bookshops at a very cheap price, and so that's why some of my books are older. So before I get on with the video, I will say that I'm absolutely horrible at pronouncing names, so if you are bothered by the mispronunciation, I apologize. I don't mean to offend. So let's get started. On top of my bookcase, I have the 20th anniversary editions of the Philosopher's Stone, and then I have Ron and Voldemort. I have some Tamagotchis, got my C-3PO, and a Westworld thing. So all the books on the top of my bookcase are books that I haven't read, and they are The Schopenhauer Cure by Irvin Yalom, The Devil Wears Prada by Lauren Weisberger, The Bone Collector by Jeffrey Deaver, Midnight Flight by V.C. Andrews, Nathaniel by John Saul, A Walk to Remember by Nicholas Sparks, Crystal by V.C. Andrews, and Intensity by Dean Koontz. The Mummy by Max Allan Collins, Lord of the Rings Part 2 The Two Towers by J.R. Tolkien, and What the Night Knows by Dean Koontz. George Orwell's 1984, Revolutionary Roads by Richard Yates, One True Thing by Anna Quindlen, and P.S. I Love You by Cecilia Ahern. The Mammoth Book of Famous Trials, The Time Machine by H.G. Wells, and Going Postal by Terry Pratchett. The Fountainhead by Ayn Rand, The Liar by Stephen Fry. Bullfinch's Mythology, American Gods by Neil Gaiman, and I Am Number 4 by Pittacus Lore. And the last books I have on the top of the bookcase are Wicked by Gregory Maguire, Saint by Ted Dekker, and Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand. On this shelf I have Baby Groot, Beemo, Spike from Buffy, Laura Palmer from Twin Peaks.
She's dead. Wrapped in plastic.
Black Panther, C-3PO, Helga from Hey Arnold, and Hawkeye. So like all the other ones on this bookcase, I have read. And they are Vanishing Girls by Lauren Oliver, City of Thieves by David Benioff, Home by Harlan Coben, The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, The Reader by Bernhard Schlink, Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman, Stardust by Neil Gaiman, Last Seen Alive by Carleen Thompson, Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng, Big Fish by Daniel Wallace, Girl Interrupted by Suzanne Kaysen, and Reconstructing Amelia by Kimberly McCreight. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone Illustrated Edition, Six of Crows by Leah Bardugo, Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn, a hardback of The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest by Stieg Larsson, The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins, My Best Friend's Exorcism by Radie Hendricks, Luckiest Girl Alive by Jessica Knoll, Nerd Do Well by Simon Pegg, Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, Norse Mythology and the Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman, Cinder, Scarlet and Cress by Marissa Meyer, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, The Girl Who Played with Fire, and The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest by Stieg Larsson. And the last book on this shelf is Juliet, Naked by Nick Hornby. On the second shelf, I have a Salvador Dali looking clock, I have my C-3PO mug, a little Iron Man, and my Star Trek glasses. If I Should Die, To the Grave, Last Whisper, If You Can Run, Nowhere to Hide, all by Carleen Thompson. The Way You Look Tonight, Black for Remembrance, Share No Secrets, All Fall Down, and Tonight You're Mine by Carleen Thompson. Misty and Brooke by V.C. Andrews, Animal Farm by George Orwell, The Unexpected Guest by Agatha Christie, Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut, and The Death of Ivan Ilyich and Other Stories by Leo Tolstoy. The Magicians by Lev Grossman, Brain on Fire by Susanna Callahan, Without You, a memoir of love, loss, and the musical Rent by Anthony Rapp, In the Woods by Tanya French, White Oleander by Janet Fitch, The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey, The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman, Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn, The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak, The Cellar by Natasha Preston, Panic by Lauren Oliver, The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater, The Weight of Blood by Laura McHugh, 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher, The Virgin Suicides by Jeffrey Eugenides, Night Film by Marissa Pessel, The Leftovers and Election by Tom Perrotta, Ready Player One by Ernest Cline, Vicious by V.E. Schwab, Me and Earl and the Dying Girl by Jesse Andrews, and the last books are Imperial Bedrooms, Less Than Zero, and The Rules of Attraction, all by Bret Easton Ellis. So on this bookshelf I have a couple of yearbooks, my little goblet thing, a Dalmatian sculpture, an Egyptian cat sculpture, and then some candles. The books on this bookcase are Bridget Jones' Diary by Heldon Fielding, and Then There Were None by Agatha Christie, a book about ruins, and Little Women and Werewolves by Louisa May Alcott and Porter Grand, Push by Sapphire, Warm Bodies by Isaac Marone, and Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas by Hunter S. Thompson. Much Ado About Nothing by William Shakespeare, Innocence by Jane Mendelsohn, The Giver by Lois Lowry, How I Live Now by Meg Rosoff, House at the End of the Street, Snow White and the Huntsman by Lily Blake, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain, Every Secret Thing by Laura Lippman and the Bee People, Science Matters, The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Ken Casey, The Body of Christopher Creed by Carol Plume Usi, and The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chomsky, The Westing Game by Ellen Raskin, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson, Tuck Everlasting by Natalie Babbitt, Raven and Butterfly by V.C. Andrews, All Quiet on the Western Front by Eric Maria Markey, and Crooked by Laura and Tom McNeil. Okay, on this bookshelf of books I haven't read yet, I have some Dalmatian stuffed animals, I have a TARDIS headband, my Thor helmet, and a Dalek. Then I have some Funko Pops of Thor, Captain America, Robin, Harley Quinn, Gandalf, Bilbo, and Gollum. Then I have a skeleton wine glass, a Hocus Pocus candle, and some other candles. The books are A First Rate Madness by Nasir Kamin, Hangsman by Shirley Jackson, and The Informers by Bret Easton Ellis, Up in the Air by Walter Kern, The Mystery of Edwin Drood by Charles Dickens, Television by Augustine Burroughs, Savages by Don Winslow, Girls I Know by Douglas Trevor, Red Dragon by Thomas Harris, The Pilot's Wife by Anita Sharev, The Silver Lining Playbooks by Matthew Quick, Where the Heart Is by Billy Letts, Blindness by Jose Saramago, Nausea by Jean-Paul Sartre, and His Dark Materials series by Philip Pullman, Invisible Monsters Diary, Lullaby by Chuck Palahniuk, The Corrections and Freedom by Jonathan Franzen, The Tempest by William Shakespeare, Lunar Park by Bret Easton Ellis, Orphan Train by Christina Baker Klein, Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman, The Post-Mortal by Drew McGarry, A Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess, Life of Pi by Jan Martel, In the Blood by Lisa Unger and Mildred Pierce by James M. Cain, Sense and Sensibility and Sea Monsters by Jane Austen and Ben H. Winters, A Girl Without a Name by Sandra Block, The Time Traveler's Wife by Audrey N. Confessions of a Shopaholic by Sophie Kinsella, The Hangman's Daughter by Oliver Potts, The Nanny Diaries by Emma McLaughlin and Nicola Cross, Eye Contact by Cami McGovern, Crazy by Benjamin Labert, $1 Million Baby Stories from the Corner by FX Tool, Slam and About a Boy by Nick Hornby, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies by Jane Austen and Seth Grimey-Smith, Bridget Jones, The Edge of Reason by Helen Fielding, The House of Mirth by Edith Wharton, Magical Aromatherapy, Scott Cunningham, Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson, Along Came a Spider by James Patterson, The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien, Flowers in the Attic by V.C. Andrews, Flowers for Algernon, Daniel Keyes, The First Men in the Moon, H.G. Wells, Black House by Stephen King and Peter Straub, and The Rosie Effect by Grimmy Simonson, Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab, One Day by Daniel Nicholas, Me Before You by Jojo Moyes, How to Be Good, Nick Hornby, The Greek Way by Edith Hamilton, Darkly Dreaming Dexter by Jeff Lindsay, We Need to Talk About Kevin by Lionel Shriver, Haunted by Chuck Palahniuk, Secret Diary of a Call Girl by Anonymous, Train Spotting by Irvin Welsh, The Forgotten Girls by Sarah Bladell, Cat's Cradle by Kurt Vonnegut, Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter by Seth Grimey-Smith, Savage Grace by Natalie Robbins and Stephen M. Aronson, The Passengers by Lisa Lutz, Wicked Girls by Alex Marwood, Broken Monsters from Lauren Bjerkes, The Silent Girls by Eric Rixton, The Girl with All the Gifts by M.R. Carey, Requiem for a Dream by Hubert Selby Jr., The Shining Girls by Lauren Bjerkes, Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, It by Stephen King, Running with Scissors by Augustin Burroughs, Night Circus by Aaron Morgenstern, Glamorama by Bret Easton Ellis, Heart-Shaped Box by Joe Hill, American Psycho by Bret Easton Ellis, and The Age of Innocence by Edith Wharton, The Cuckoo's Calling by Robert Galbraith, The Casual Vacancy by J.K. Rowling, The Ultimate Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams, Crooked Kingdom by Leah Bardugo, Silkworm, Career of Evil by Robert Galbraith, A Lion Among Men, Son of a Witch by Gregory McGuire, The X-File Ruins by Kevin J. Anderson, The Girl in the Spider's Webs by David Lagerkrantz, Your Heart Belongs to Me by Dean Koontz, Anthropology of an American Girl by Hilary Thayer Hammond, The Magician King by Lev Grossman, The Ruins by Scott Smith, Goldfinch by Donna Tartt, House of Leaves by Mark Z. Daniel Whiskey, Neil Patrick Harris's Choose Your Own Autobiography, Matched by Ali Condell, Go Set a Watchman by Harper Lee, Everything is Illuminated by Jonathan Safran, Uprooted by Naomi Novik. On this shelf I have Born Confused by an author I can't pronounce, and Witch Child by Celia Rees, Beyond the Reach of Sense by Rosalind Haywood, A Witch's Notebook, and then Wicca Unveiled by J. Philip Rhodes. Then I have the Encyclopedia of Witchcraft and Demonology by Russell Hope Robbins. Then I have some comics, Occult Crime Task Force, and Star Wars Adventures. I have The World Treasury of Fairy Tale and Folklore, Complete Book of Witchcraft by Raymond Buckland, Mirror Mirror by Gregory Maguire, The Art of Asking by Amanda Palmer, Cards on the Table by Agatha Christie, Hidden Jewel by V.C. Andrews, The Girl in 6E by A.R. Torr, The Likeness, Faithful Place, Broken Harbor by Tanya French, Skag Boys and Crime by Irvin Welsh, The Good Wife by Liz Fenton and Lisa Steinke, Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov, Middlesex by Jeffrey Eugenides, Nosferatu by Joe Hill, Bird Song by Sebastian Faulks, The Infinite Sea by Rick Yancey, Never Let Me Go by another author I cannot pronounce, Possible Side Effects by Augustin Burroughs, The Hours by Michael Cunningham, Serena by Ron Rash, Shiver by Maggie Stiefvater, The Nest by Cynthia Sweeney, and the last book is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland Through a Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. So that's all for today's video. Like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Bye!